In '91, I met the love of my life within a few weeks of coming down here to the Waikato. We were married 3 years later. Then in '97, Glenn suddenly had a seizure. I still remember the shock. It was a Friday afternoon. Doctor rings up and says, there's no time for you to come in. I'm going to have to tell you over the phone. You've got a brain tumour. You need to get into Auckland Hospital because we're going to need to operate on Monday. Coming into 2002, we were having a baby, having surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, all of that in the same year.
Hi, Ma.
That's one of the reasons that they've gone with that.
In the beginning of the next year, they thought something is not right with him. And what had happened is a bacteria had got into Glenn's brain in that previous debulking surgery, and it grew. He had to actually have part of his bone flap removed because of this very nasty infection. When you find out that your brain is affected, that your CPU is going to dysfunction in certain ways, you just have no idea what that's really going to look like. And to be honest, I thought there was enough to deal with cancer, let alone to find that you have what's called disabilities as well. Glenn always wanted to be involved, obviously, in what Rachel was doing. I remember him taking Rachel on the mobility scooter down the road to kindy, and actually, he was a dad that could be at kindy. But, yeah, not many kids get to have their dad at kindy.
Lots of people tell me how much I'm like my dad, and if I hadn't known him myself, then I wouldn't really know who I was, where I got all my, even little things like my smile, everything, I wouldn't know where it was from.
Glenn's doctor said when we asked about life insurance, you know, I can't do this lightly. Insurance companies really don't like it when we get this wrong. But I'm pretty sure you're going to be not with us in the next 6 months. So he got it paid out, and that was some 7 odd years before Glenn actually died. A doctor really doesn't know exactly when you're going to die, and of course Glenn looked like he was going to die several times.
He lived at least 9 years longer than they thought he would, which is a long time, especially for me. It's over half my life still.
Prognosis is almost always incorrect. And sometimes we just get it wrong. I mean, I've seen people here in the hospice who've been given a month to live, and we're 6 months further on. So prognostication isn't quite the science that we'd like it to be yet.
No two conditions are the same, no two diagnoses are the same, and no two outcomes are the same. Every one is different. Some people I know that I've sat with as they've passed in my arms, they were told a month earlier that they were dying, and they weren't told when the diagnosis came through. So I helped prepare them for death. But when they lay in my arms, they lay in peace. And honestly, the struggle lessens the minute you begin to face it and deal with what's going on.
I think that the rhetoric around dying has been hijacked by the assisted dying people, that this is a death with dignity. I don't honestly believe that that's a dignified way to die. We need to be very, very careful about any sort of legislation that allows one individual to kill another. If you're talking about ending somebody's life, is that because you believe that that life is not worth living? And if that's the case, I find that really scary, because that's how things have gone badly wrong in the past, the belief that somebody's life is not worth as much as another person's life.
When she was 18 months, he was totally clinically dying, saying his goodbyes to us. The clinical nurse manager was saying, where's he going to die? Home or hospital? We were under hospice then. He didn't die. Then when she was 4, he was clinically dying again, and we were under hospice again. He didn't die. So we'd been under hospice 3 times. We'd outlived numerous prognoses. We'd lived so much. When he did go at 11 past 12 on the 11th of the 12th, we were there to do what we'd meant to do, which was to be together until death parted us, natural death.
I was there for his last breath. I was holding his hand, and so it was pretty special.
I'd be incredibly nervous to see euthanasia on the table in our country. I just can't imagine what kind of conversations can happen to the vulnerable when other people project their thoughts about how someone's life is and how their illness is affecting their loved ones. It's just not okay. Let's just focus on dying naturally and dying well.